This is LillyTino, and her comment section is nothing short of a war zone. She's constantly referred to as Sir LA, compared to the gay version of the vegan teacher, and even called a PDF file. However, if you're familiar with Lilly's content, you might agree that she probably deserves the backlash, and soon, you'll see exactly why. Lilly, a biological man who transitioned into a transgender woman, initially began documenting her transition journey on TikTok in 2022. Unsurprisingly, everyone supported her, with comments like "so happy for you that you finally found your beautiful self," along with thousands of others expressing the same support. But little did they know this was just moments before disaster. See, Lilly has this interesting and admittedly annoying mindset that some might describe as a classic victim mentality. If you look through her TikTok, it's mostly filled with posts about being misgendered in public. For instance, after being called sir at a Sweetwater restaurant, she corrected the server, who immediately apologized. But that wasn't enough. Lilly still escalated it to the manager, explaining how hurtful it was despite the immediate apology, saying, "It always hurts every single time." What's strange is that even after an apology, she insists on dragging it further. She said, "I don't need to be called ma'am, I just need to not be called sir." Then, she pointed out that the food delivery guy called her sir twice in a row, which led her to confront restaurant staff even when it was clearly not their fault. This behavior triggered responses like, "I have no problem with you, but I find it odd that you try to expose people for accidentally misgendering you." One person even joked, "I have a MacBook but people call it a laptop." The trolling only escalated from there. But for Lilly, that was just the beginning. When a group of teens walked by and called her sir, she immediately switched into full-blown victim mode. Lilly asked them to show their faces, and when one teen corrected himself by saying ma'am, she asked what his pronouns were. He answered respectfully, she/her. Yet right after, as they walked away, they mockingly said, "See you, sir," prompting Lilly to report them to the restaurant staff, again stating, "There's nothing you could have done, but I wanted you to know they were being awful." Another TikToker summarized Lilly's behavior perfectly, referencing how she overreacts to accidental misgendering while being completely fine with assuming others' genders, a clear double standard. One glaring example is when Lilly claimed Kurt Cobain was probably trans. She based this claim on the fact that he wore women's clothing, felt comfortable doing so, and once thought he might be gay. Lilly insisted many trans people confuse early feelings of gender dysphoria with being gay, saying that's what she personally experienced. The comments, however, were brutal. "I once wore a Spider-Man costume. I must be Spider-Man, and so you cry when people assume your gender, but now it's okay to assume a dead man had gender dysphoria?" She didn't stop with Kurt Cobain. Lilly also speculated about Abraham Lincoln, claiming he was queer because he shared a bed with a man named Billy Green for 18 months and another named Joshua Speed for 4 years. Lilly claimed Green once described Lincoln's thighs as the most perfect any human could be. Despite the historical context and the norms of the time, Lilly interpreted it as romantic or sexual, even suggesting Speed was Lincoln's true love before marrying Mary Todd. Again, these claims weren't based on solid evidence but rather on assumptions to fit a narrative. But her behavior goes far beyond speculation. One day, Lilly ordered food from a restaurant called Panahar. She liked the food and had even asked the driver to knock before delivering it. But when she didn't hear a knock, she immediately assumed something might have happened to her food. What did she do? She contacted Grubhub. When they told her it wasn't their problem, she turned on the restaurant, leaving a harsh 1-star review and saying, "Well, if it's not Grubhub's problem, it's now your problem." Still, that's not the worst of it. In one video, Lilly openly described how she had her cake pops removed, in public. She explained, "A few months ago I got my cake pops removed, and I've decided I want to turn my remaining cake pop stick into a donut." She described how she had debated whether to go through with the bottom surgery due to recovery time and risks but concluded, "If I could snap my fingers and have it done, I would." While this might seem like private medical information, Lilly chooses to share it publicly, and this isn't a one-off occurrence. There are numerous videos of Lilly going into great detail about her transition and procedures. She said things like, "Today is the day of my bottom surgery consult." This surgery is going to take my cake pop stick, hollow it out, flip it inside out, and then put it inside. She's shown how she's undergone electrolysis and even saved her meatballs to possibly use later. She describes these personal details in a cartoon-like tone, mimicking content for children, saying things like, "This is my Minotti." Later this year a surgeon will turn it into a Torini. But it gets worse. At Disneyland, surrounded by kids, Lilly started talking about her surgery and genitals again. She acknowledged it might be inappropriate by saying, "We're going to get banned from Disney," and then launched into a description of her marshmallow wand and how it was regrowing hair, which meant she had to postpone surgery. Viewers were rightly disturbed. One comment said, "Do you really think it's appropriate to talk about this at Disney?" Another added, "There are kids in the background, bro, stop." Even more alarming is how Lilly creates content styled like Miss Rachel, the popular educational YouTuber for toddlers. Lilly says things like, "Hi friends, today we're going to talk about something super important, what it means to be transgender." She encourages kids to close their eyes and think about whether they feel like a boy, girl, or both. It's aimed at children who don't yet understand what gender even is, and it left many parents outraged. She's even posted another video in the same style about pronouns, saying, "Some people use he and him, like this bear. Some use she and her, like this cat. And some use they and them, like this frog." Her behavior is filled with contradictions. In one instance, while talking to her dog, she accidentally slipped and said something inappropriate that resembled a slur. Instead of apologizing, she brushed it off with a convoluted explanation about mixing up vowels. She said, "I was calling my dog Nugget, and instead of saying one vowel, I slipped and said another, because he was shivering." She offered no real apology and instead tried to rationalize the mistake. All of this paints a clear picture. Whether it's assuming historical figures were trans, oversharing medical details in public, speaking to toddlers about gender identity, or retaliating against restaurants over imagined slights, LillyTino has become a controversial and polarizing figure. And judging by the backlash in her comments section, it's safe to say that much of the internet isn't buying her act.